to make sure we are recording this. And we're going to cover a lot of information. Really, this is meant to be the fun part of your training. I gather at this point in time, I've got 12:03 Mountain Time, that you are brain fried. You have spent an entire week having information dumped into your brains that is germane to the job, certainly. I paid attention a little bit this morning, listened to the presentation of TIFF. Of course, I know the one that Kelsey does. Kelsey works, directly across the hall from me, and am intimately familiar with the presentation she does, and pretty familiar with the sales training that you've received throughout the week. And not just the sales training, but the production training, which can be a lot of information in a very short period of time, a lot to process and a lot to retain. I will tell you, this is meant to be the fun part. And we've done this portion of the training at certain times during the training program, in the beginning of the training, and then we realized, it's best left right at the end. So we kind of prop you guys up, send you out into the field to do your work, get your 10 leads, bring back 2 deals, and we're here to support you. And so you can kind of almost put the pencil down right now. I'm not going to ask you to retain a tremendous amount of information that you're going to need to do your job and do your job well, but really want to orient you to what goes on in the company, how we set leads, and what the expectations are on those leads, who you'll be in contact with. And let's start by the statement that's up on the screen now. You've joined America's first and only network of retrofit contractors dedicated to senior safety. That means a lot to us here at Aging in the Home, and it means a lot to us because it's we're trailblazers. And when we started this business, it's going back 4 years now. Aging in the Home Denver was an experiment, and I was one of the lab rats in the experiment. So I'm going to introduce you to the team, some of whom you've already interfaced with, and I'm going to introduce you to who does what internally and give you an idea of how things work here. But we're part of a larger, bigger network that nationwide, at least in the 48 contiguous states, is dedicated to helping people stay in their homes, remain independent, have the dignity of living out their lives as they would like to for however long that is, safely in their homes. And that really resonates with us internally. Some ongoings happened here in the very first year that really brought us face to face with the fact that the work we do prevents people from dying tragically in the home. And when you really sort of absorb that statement, it should mean a lot to you. So you already know most of the team, but I want to introduce, who's everybody in Lakewood. I'm Larry, I already mentioned. I'm the Vice President of Operations here. And what that really means is I just wear a lot of different hats, and one of those big hats is lead origination, distribution, various personnel, human resource functions, information technology, you name it. The guy that wears a lot of the hats in the organization other people either don't want to wear or aren't equipped to wear. You may not know Norm Murdoch, but I think you should. It's part of the management team. He's the Vice President of Product, Production, and Compliance. He's the individual who interfaces with our suppliers to make sure we're getting a quality product, and we're getting a consistent product, and we're getting consistent service from our partners in the industry. And he also oversees our production and fulfillment end, along with Todd Stout, who's also one of the original members of the team. Todd and myself go back to 2011, and we're 2 of the lab rats that were here. And of course, Kelly. You've been dealing with Kelly all week long. He's your national sales director. He's your boss's boss, so to speak, or not so to speak. He is. And I know Kelly's got an open door and is always going to be available to you, and is interested in your long-term success, as we all are. Kelsey Shea, you just met. She's our operations manager. Kelsey started out as my administrative assistant and has moved up within the organization to operations manager. She oversees, something that's very important to you: how you get paid, and when you get paid, and expenses, where applicable. So Kelsey's someone who not only handles that aspect of the business, but she handles the management of the administrative support team here as well. So Going on down the list, you have Tracy Deerkins, who's our senior production manager. She goes back to early 2012. She was, originally, believe it or not, Todd's, administrative assistant and our front desk person. So Tracy is our eldest of individuals who works in the production team. And I'm not saying she's old. She'd hate it if I called her eldest, I'm sure, but she is experienced and makes the trains run on time in the production department. Now let's talk about, your 6 regional managers. You know who your RSM is, and you know Kelly, their supervisor. You have those individuals at your disposal. And now I kind of want to give you a picture, really paint a picture of who here internally is behind the scenes working to either deliver what we deliver to you every day, and that is a lead, and then fulfill what you deliver back, and that is a sale. So you have 15 production team members, that work under Tracy, Todd, Norm's supervision, that are making come to fruition the jobs that you sell every day. You've got 45 contact center team members. Everybody know what a contact center is, right? Does anyone know how we make leads? Have we covered that, in minor detail and major detail at all? You guys know where we're going to get leads from? Anybody?
Internet.
Internet. That's a big one. About 40%. Good call. Anyone else?
517 publications.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, 517 publications. So inbound telephone calls then, right, from those publications. Well, the individuals who are fielding those telephone calls, setting those leads for you, confirming those leads, managing the logistic operations of where the leads are, when they are, who's running them, and confirming the leads are all in the contact center. So the contact center itself consists of 40 to 45 people at a given time working at what I call the craft. And you've got 5 supervisors out there, including Cameron Jenkins, who's our contact center director, and his team of individuals who manage the floor. So we're very tightly control our quality and our processes in the contact center because it's easy to do. We have everybody in a lab, so to speak. So you got the contact center and the people that you're going to deal with nearly as much as you deal with your RSMs, and you'll probably talk to these individuals more than you talk to your RSM or the dispatch team members. And those guys are your big time support network. I'm going to give you all their names and contact information here shortly. But those are the individuals who are packaging up your leads for you, who manage your schedule. They know as much about you as your spouse. They know when you got to get your oil changed, when your anniversary is with your spouse, when your kid's birthday is, when your birthday is, because usually, you're not available for a lead on some of those days. They know more about you in many ways than the RSMs, and they are intimately involved in your day-to-day life. So you'll get to know those folks very well. And of all the individuals that are listed in front of you, besides, let's say, your production manager, you'll talk to the dispatch team members quite frequently. We have operations and support, so people that Kelsey supervises, our administrative support team, our receptionist, and various other people in the building who support our global function. And I don't want to forget the people in Virginia who support everything we do here at Aging in the Home in Colorado. Those are people who, on the other end, when I click a button and formally request money, to pay payroll, there's someone back in Virginia, my counterpart, who says, yeah, there's the funding. There is a counterpart to Kelsey back in Virginia. There's a counterpart to a lot of our administrative people back in Virginia, counterparts to, Norm and Kelly and so on back in Virginia who support us. So if you take a look at this list of individuals here, I just want to give you the sense that you're not out there alone. You do work in a vacuum. When you've endeavored into this lifestyle and this job, and you take a lead, go out and you run the lead, you almost feel like it's sort of you against the world. But you need to know that there's a giant team of people, both in Colorado and Virginia, who are supporting that effort and are behind you every step of the way. And the company's a large entity, and you're part of a bigger, greater picture of people who are all about saving senior citizens' lives. So I wanted you to kind of know who you're dealing with. look for our newsletter every 2 weeks. It's going to come right to your home. So it's a nice communication tool that we use for everybody in Virginia, everybody who installs a tub for us. All of our installers get it. All of our direct sellers, you folks, will receive the newsletter. All the people internally get the newsletter. It's a great way to kind of keep tabs on what's going on around the company, what's going on around the country. And, we every month we throw out as an example the top 10 revenue per lead, producers across the nation. We have 75 direct sellers, including you folks out there. And you'll get to know some of those guys in feature stories. You'll get to know some of the installers and feature stories, and we're interested in communicating and you folks being part of the team and feeling like part of the team. So look for that every week. So let's talk a little bit about who are the people making your leads. First things first, who are they? These personnel, these people, personnel group, right, that set your leads really are the introduction to the sale. Anyone ever heard this term before? Phone room? Anybody been around retrofit home improvements before? Anybody? Phone
one.
Know that term? You may be interested in seeing what our phone room looks like here in Denver. So I've got a picture for you right here. That's what our phone room looks like. That's where we store all of our old phones. Phone room is sort of this old school term that we use for the people who originate leads and set leads. And it sort of reminds me of some of the other ones like rehash. I remember the first time in my home improvement career, my boss said, "Hey, Larry, I'd like you to do some rehash." And I said, I'm kind of anti-drug. I'm not into it. One-legger, there's another one, sort of industry specific. My wife, before she was my wife, would hear me on the phone at night with sales reps, be resulting leads, and we'd be talking about one-leggers, and she finally just had to ask, what the heck does that even mean? A one-legger, what does it mean when a rep got porched? Other little terms like third-party kill, who knows what that really is? Pitch and miss, is always a baseball term to me, but we've got some funky terminology in here. So the phone room is really one of those terminologies, and this is what some of our phone rooms look like here in our building in Lakewood, Colorado. This is what a real phone room is. But what we really have is not a smoky telemarketing operation. What we have are inside salespeople. These are former salespeople who they're experienced in business and life. They are straight commission reps just like you. Most of them have come to me from insurance sales, car sales. They did a lot of business-to-business sales, some business-to-consumer sales. Many of them are outside reps like you folks were, who they've just sort of grown tired of the cold, or let's say, for whatever family situation that they have, they decided that they want to kind of come in from the field and work as a person inside. So a lot of them have been in your shoes, and the one thing that I want you to understand that they have in common with you is their straight commission. And the straight commission is based on installed revenue, a net job. They get paid when you get paid, and that's how we all get paid. And so we're all sort of towing the boat in the same direction. Experience, I mentioned this already. They come with innate skills like salespeople. And the skills that we really look for in our inside salespeople are the ability to listen, ask questions, and probe. Kelly, can give you some insight on this, and so can any of your RSMs when you've got questions about leads, how leads are set, which is what we're going to cover for you right now. But most of the management team has been inside the building, and they've seen these people do this job. Tough job to take an inbound phone call and perform what I call art form number one, get people to say yes, and an art form number two, which is complete a puzzle. So we look for professionals, and we look for professionals who understand time and distance and geography, because remember, we are covering a giant swath of territory, what I'm going to show you a picture of here shortly, across the contiguous 48 states. So these are the people that are setting your leads. I want you to understand, here are some of them. You notice we don't have a lot of what you call youth in our contact center. You've got people who are experienced, they're a little long in the tooth, if you will, and they've been around the block. So your partners in this sales process are this group of individual. We call it the relay race. we had the unique opportunity here of building this culture from scratch. And one of the things that we all recognize, Kelly, myself, the RSMs, Todd, when we were formulating the business, was there's this adversarial relationship traditionally between people who set leads, people who run leads. And you see this not just in our industry, but across all industries. Marketing and sales. Marketing. People think the salespeople aren't living up to the marketing effort we put out, and then the salespeople say, well, the marketing effort isn't living up to the our needs. So we recognize that going into this business in 2011, and we wanted to surround ourselves with people who thought like salespeople and who understand that their role in the contact center is sales. And our job is to hand the baton off. Advertising delivers records or leads to the contact center. They deliver, set appointments to the sales team. Sales team delivers great information to the production team so we can fulfill this job and get it installed and generate revenue and potentially save someone's life. We look at it as a relay race. We're all a relay race in which we're all on the same team, handing the baton off from one to another. So there isn't that adversarial sort of relationship or that juxtaposition between goals in our contact center staff and our sales staff. We look at it all as sales. We're all in sales, and that's why we've built the pay plan for our inside people the way we have with a straight commission plan. So let's talk about advertising. What does this look like to you folks? This is one of our ads for the Easy Climber, right? Not a product that we trained you on this week, but it's germane to this discussion. What does it look like? Does it look like an advertisement? Anybody?
No.
So what would you say it looks like?
Newspaper article.
You got it. It's designed to read that way. You can read that on the left-hand side of your screen. It's designed to look like a newspaper article. The headline's designed to draw you in. Seniors are among the handful of remaining demographics that still read print publications. One of you mentioned the 517 publications that we'll advertise in. Well, this is a prime example. This is what one of our direct mailers look like. Again, and not a lot of pomp and circumstance to the mailer. It's more informational. It's copy. It's designed to get you to read it. It comes in a plain envelope. It's designed to pull in the reader and evoke this emotional response. This is about as pretty as we get with our designs. You don't see a lot of starbursts, call now, calls to actions, right? You got the lifetime warranty on this one. Here are a couple versions of our walk-in tub ads. You got the old one on your left, which is the original tub that we used to sell. In the top right-hand corner, we've got a dinner for two. That's about as funky as we get. We're going to talk about Guardian 911 today, and I'll explain what that is. It's another hook we're using in our advertising. Over on the right, you see the free exclusive foot massage jets. We have learned as advertisers and as an organization that these hooks that you see on these ads, guys, they don't ring the phone any more than a long advertorial or a long form ad rings the phone. In fact, we found when we put these hooks into the advertising, they ring the phone less. People are interested in information, and when you put, jacuzzi makes bathing safe and affordable, or, another headline that I don't have here that worked really well for us was jacuzzi. It's like my own personal fountain of youth. And that resonated with people, drew in the reader. It got the reader to read the copy, and then eventually, quite obviously an advertisement, I want to find out more information. So I look at, this phone number, I call, and what do you think the first question is? Let's go back to one of these ads, and I throw this out for every training class. Person responding to an advertisement like this, whether it's for a walk-in tub, a walk-in shower, or Easy Climber, products that we hope to train you on here after you've run your first 10, tub leads. What do you think is the first thing they ask? Anybody? How much does it cost? You got it. How much does it cost? That's an easy one, right? A softball for you guys. So without having any idea how we set leads, right, and without being trained like one of our inside contact center, sales team members, instinctively, how would you respond to that question? What do you think?
Every
Well,
circumstance is different, Mrs. Jones. I just
Yeah.
need to have one of our technicians come out and take a look at your bathroom and see exactly what your needs are.
Okay. Anybody, spot on, right? And anybody else have a different opinion? Anyone?
Well, this is Jerry. It's just that Mr. Johns, it would depend. Every situation's different. It would depend on style, color, size, amenities. It would depend on a lot of stuff. That's why we would like to send a rep out to see if we can help you.
Okay. All right. Well said. You would not be surprised to hear that about 9 out of 10 salespeople respond the exact same way. They they either go to features, advantages, and benefits, or like you guys did, hey, this is a construction program, this is a construction project rather, and the only way I'm going to be able to tell you how much this is if I come out and, let's say I measure your bathroom, I look at the door openings and see how wide they are. There's fit and finish to these projects, and of course we got to consider electrical. I got to look at your electrical panel, and that's a very logical reason why I couldn't tell you on the phone how much this is, right? Very logical, yeah? So you think, well, that's how you compel people to invite one of you folks out to their home. That's what you think, right? And believe it or not, that's what the organization thought too. Quick history of First Street and the walk-in tub business. First Street, years ago, great advertiser, sold lots and lots of senior gadgetry. We were called Techno Brands for a while before we chose the name First Street as our branded name, and went away from sort of this techno gadget, sharper image type company and into techno gadgets for seniors. Well, had a lot of notoriety in the business, a lot of, we're on a lot of radar screens, and companies would call us all the time and ask us to advertise their wares. They want to get in partnership with us. One such company in 2009 was SafeStep. Anybody ever heard of SafeStep? Yes, no? SafeStep is one of our competitors. I'm sure you all heard of SafeStep. SafeStep came knocking, said, hey, First Street, you guys really know how to get at seniors. We want to know how to get at seniors. Advertise for us. Those two companies endeavored into a relationship that lasted 1 year. And in that relationship, they advertised the tub and sent those telephone calls to the individual SafeStep dealers. And the SafeStep dealers answered the phone and did virtually exactly what you guys just did when I asked you that question. Hey, how would you convince someone to let us come out? And based on that experience with SafeStep, when we come along, and I wrote the original pro forma for this business model, and other people were working on various other things, and together, collectively, we put together a pretty good team. But in addition to some of the nuts and bolts of the business, my area of expertise is really lead origination and contact center and infrastructure. Company said, okay, we appreciate the pro forma and we appreciate all you have to offer, but hey, here's how you set leads. And here's how you set leads was based on their experience for a year advertising for this client of theirs, SafeStep. And so what they presented to me was a script that sounded exactly like what you guys just did. And that was, well, only way to get your price is to come out and find out the specifics of your bathroom and find out what needs to be. Every bathroom's a little bit different, and we've got to tailor this project to you specifically. And it seemed to make a lot of sense, but I was looking at their ads and going, something doesn't jive here. Something really doesn't work. If you tell me this is the person that's calling you, and if you guys have not ever read this copy, take a look at it. Maybe you already have while I'm sitting here talking. If you read the copy, boy, it's an emotional journey. By the time you get to the end of that article where it says call today, the one on your left, I'm emotionally involved. I want to feel better. I want my aches and pains to go away. I want my own personal fountain of youth. Right? I want to feel like I have a spa in my home. I want all of that. I'm emotionally involved. Out of curiosity, does anyone on the call, I'm sure you do, but does anyone on the call know in what hemisphere of my brain am I in after reading one of these articles? Am I in my right brain or my left brain?
Right, Brian.
Yeah, I'm in my right brain. I'm emotionally involved. And the script that they presented to me, which is what you guys, basically did, I mean, you're spot on, was a very left brain sort of logical reason. Well, it sounds logical. I guess a guy would have to measure my bathroom. I guess he'd have to take a look at my plumbing and electrical. That makes a lot of sense. But, as a marketer, I said, why would I want to take a person who's already in his right brain? You're delivering him to me. You're delivering him to me in his right brain. Why would I want to take him out of that and tell him all the logical reasons why I have to come out? There's got to be a better way. So let's talk about how we set leads. All right. Came up with a 5-step process. And step 1 is all about finding the pain. So while it may seem like the best thing to do is to start when someone says, hey, how much is that tub? Well, that's a great question, and here's how I can get you the answer. One of my technicians has to come out and measure your bathroom and take a look at your plumbing, electrical, and all the things we just talked about. Instead of doing that, let's really find out why they're calling. I mean, I already got them in their right brain, right? I've already got them feeling emotionally connected to the idea of a walk-in tub. I've got them emotionally connected to the idea of sitting in hydrotherapy right in their home. I've got them connected to the idea of feeling better, through hydrotherapy. Let's leave them there because you know what? When they make a decision, the decision's always in the right brain too. So instead of going logical, let's find out why they're calling. So our people, right out of the gate, January 2nd, 2012, were taught this process instead of the script that the company handed to me that SafeStep had been working on for a while. And it sounds like this. Well, I can absolutely get you that information, right? I can get you that pricing. But let me ask you, when did you first realize you needed a walk-in tub? Describe for me the challenges you're having getting in and out of the tub you have now. Right? Describe for me the last time you sat in a jacuzzi. Describe for me some of the aches and pains that you're interested in solving for with hydrotherapy. And this is the way we endeavor into the conversation. And after we have got them in a state of mind, or we call it swimming in pain, we have them firmly in their right brain, emotionally involved with us, and we've taken an interest, the same way you guys would do in a needs assessment when you walk in the house. After we've done that, then we say, well, let me tell you what we've got to do. My technician needs to come out, take a look at your bathroom, take a look at your plumbing and electrical, and then I can get your price right down to the penny. You see the difference? We keep them emotionally involved until we have developed enough rapport that then we say we need to come out. So that's what we call step 2 in our process. Step 3 in our process, just like any salesperson, you got to ask for the order, you got to set the appointment. Step 4 in our process is the objection and rebuttal cycle. Now, I know you guys know this because you're all salespeople. You just finished a week of sales training. In your sales training, you overcome objections right up front, right? You drag them out early. Well, same thing with us on the telephone. We only see a step 4 if we've done a bad step 1. Notice how big step 1 is in our 5-step process. Step 5, we do a scripted warm down and we set the table for what's going to happen when you show up. This is the process we use. Now, some people think I'm a little kooky. Some. And when I said, in response to someone telling me, hey, here's how you set leads on this program, I said, no, you don't. That's not how you set leads on this program. They thought I was a little kooky. So I said, well, I'm going to go with my step 1 through step 5 process. And the rest of you dealers, I mentioned early, that you're part of the first network of dealers, contractors dedicated to helping people stay safe and independent in their homes. When we opened this business, we managed 16% of the country out here, 16%. We had 16 states, but we had the really unpopulated states, and we weren't really generating that many phone calls. There were 14 other dealers doing what we do. There are now 7, and the 7 that didn't work out, we manage those territories now. My point to all this is the question is, with my step 1 through 5 process, we converted differently than the expectation was of the company based on its year of experience marketing for SafeStep. So the dealers went out and used that script. Well, every home's different. We got to look at your home, find out what's specific about it, and your unique situation may affect your pricing. And they went out and they converted at 25% of inbound telephone calls. What do you think our conversion was? Anybody? No guesses? Our conversion.
Hard to say.
What's that?
42.5.
Yeah. Our
I would say you doubled it.
Yeah, our conversion was 47%. So we converted almost double, what the dealers were converting with this sort of, generic sort of run-of-the-mill vanilla script. Made a lot of sense, right? And then here's what we found is because we go through this finding the pain process, we were able to tee up the lead and find out information that's important to you as a sales rep and hand it off to you, just like I showed you with a little baton exercise. So we really set the table well, for our sales reps out in the field. And that's how we continue to do it today. Now, we've gotten a lot better, in the last 4 years. We've gotten, really good. We've gotten so good that we know how long a step one should be. We know how long, a phone call should be to convert the highest percentage and get as many leads in your hands. And we know how much should be said and what should not be said on the phone to make it better for you to go in and sell. So my question for all of you is, how long do you think this phone call takes?
5 minutes.
Yeah. One guess, 5 minutes. Who else?
I'll say 15.
Okay. Any
3
other
minutes.
guess?
3 minutes.
8 minutes.
3.
Okay. Who guessed 15?
I did.
Who's I?
I did. Don.
Okay.
Don did.
Yeah. 12 to 15 minutes. Whoever said 5, I'll give you an example. A step one by itself doesn't even get good until you get past the 5-minute mark. 5 to 7 minutes is the time we spend asking questions, probing, right? Listening to what's going on with people and looking for this. Every consumer who calls us, we ask, what feature did you read about that prompted you to find out more information? We want to refer them back to the feature. What feature did you read about? We're not asking them. They always say, hey, how much is it? And we always say, I can absolutely help you with that. Hey, what feature did you read about that prompted you to call us today? And you know what people do? They flash up their cue card. They flash it up. We teach people to listen. Our inside salespeople are trained for 8 days of paid training, very similar to the kind of training you do. Our contact center people are trained for 8 days. And the first day is a psychology lesson, and we teach people how to listen. And we throw all these exercises at them. And we've got little scripts where we plant little pieces of information to see how well they're listening and see how well they know how to ask questions. So when people say, well, my wife and I have been thinking about this for a couple of years, an untrained person might ask some other question. But the trained person is going to say, the trained listener is going to say, couple of years, huh? What happened a couple of years ago? That's what a trained listener does. And then they say, well, yeah, my wife had her hip replaced. Oh, goodness. She had her hip replaced. There's your cue card. There's your cue. They're flashed. People always lead with the thing that ails them the most, right? So the caller has now flashed up his cue, and then we teach people probe on the pain. She had her hip replaced. Goodness, what precipitated the hip replacement? Did she have a fall? She did have a couple of falls. Okay, how long had she been struggling with the hip? Right? What was the recovery time like? Describe what it's like for her to get in and out of the tub you have now, given where she is with that hip replacement. And hey, we haven't forgotten about you either. I know your wife has this hip problem, but tell me what's going on with you. Describe your challenges getting in and out of the tub. Well, I'm good, but I did have I had knee surgery back when I was a young man, and boy, I got bad arthritis in the knee. Great. So we probe on the arthritis. Tell me what it's like for you to get up and down the stairs. Tell me what it's like for you to get in and out of the tub. This is how we do a step one, and that's why it's 5 to 7 minutes long before we even entertain the idea of presenting you coming out to the home and measuring the bathroom and giving a price right down to the penny. Make sense?
Yep.
All right. Let's talk about what it sounds like. All right. We're going to play a little game here called the match game. All right. I have 3 clips here that I want you to listen to. Clip number 1, all right, or one of the 3 clips rather, happens to be an audio clip from a very popular Sirius XM satellite radio show. I think it's on the health channel of Sirius XM, and it's a senior health issues call-in show. Another one of the clips happens to be an excerpt from a support hotline. We're members of the Colorado Gerontological Society here. We have been since 2012. They have a support hotline, and we have access to some of their recordings. One of the clips happens to be, all right, a clip from one of the hotline calls. And one of the clips happens to be the very middle of a step 1 of an inbound telephone call right here in our contact center by one of our inside salespeople. So I want you to guess which is which, and I'm hoping I got my speakers up loud enough so that you can hear it. And let's start with clip number 1.
Both hands are very sore and very painful.
I'm sorry to hear that.
And what's funny, when I wake up in the morning, they're the worst, and in the evening, they're the best. I mean, they're back to almost normal by the evening, but the morning, it's all I can do to walk.
Yes. No,
I see a doctor. This Saturday, I see a doctor about that.
Okay. Been there many times. I do not like that. And you're right. As they stretch out, as long as they're not completely, excuse me, being very specific here, as long as they're not ripped in two, which they usually aren't, but they can be, it can be so painful. But as the day wears on, you can get them to sort of settle into movement.
That's the way it works.
And I think there's some chemical stuff goes on too, but I forgot all that long. So
I take quite a few pills, old people's pills, and sometimes that is an after effect or a side effect.
Okay, that's clip number 1. Clip number 2.
Why can't you get into a swimming pool? Because you're supposed to do water aerobics for this kind of problem. Sure. I know. I was just asking why can't she get into the swimming pool? You said that she's not able to get. Well, to be quite honest, we're a little bit older, and it's a little tough to get in bathing suits at this stage of our lives.
Ah, okay. So a modesty thing?
That's correct.
Okay, gotcha. Now, what is your wife doing right now then to treat her neuropathy?
She's taking medication.
Has this neuropathy caused her to have any falls or close calls that you're aware of?
No, she hasn't had any falls.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
She's on a cane.
She uses a cane to get around.
Yes.
Okay. How about yourself there, William? Any challenges for yourself?
No, not yet. Just birthdays.
Oh, okay. Birthdays are your challenge?
Yeah.
Just the increase.
Next one's 88.
You're 88?
Yes.
Wow. What are you doing to stay so healthy that you don't have any challenges at 88?
Well, I don't know. I guess good genes.
Okay, that's clip number 2. A, B, or C. Here comes clip number 3.
What kind of arthritis is it?
It's osteoarthritis.
Osteoarthritis. Oh, wow. And what joints do you have it in?
My knees, my left leg has decided to leave me.
Oh, no.
I'm really
Is it all the way down your leg?
Just partially. It's mostly my knee. I'm 88 years old, and I do not want surgery.
Oh, sure.
So I thought maybe the exercise would help.
So that's clip number 3. So my question for all of you guys is, which clip is which? Which one's A, which one's B, and which one's C? What's that? I think I just lost my connection here. Might have lost everybody. Can anybody hear me?
That's how I felt, but they were just there.
No, I was interacting with him. I think my audio. What's?
Can I put a time on this?
Oh yeah. We're gonna leave here at 1 o'clock. All right.
So
Closing the office at 1 o'clock. All right.
Closing at 1.
Closing the office at 1. Party starts at 1:15, 1:30. Okay. All right.
Can I put 1? Can I put 1 for the party?
No, 1:30. When the office closes at
I'm only
1.
gonna have 45 minutes at the
What?
party. My flight's
All right.
at 4.
Okay.
So just close the office at 1,
Yep.
1:30.
Yeah. Hey, Jerry and Erwin, it looks like you guys are still there from an audio perspective. Can either of you guys hear me?
Welcome to the webinar. You have entered as an organizer and may now speak to any other organizers or panelists on the line. When you are ready to begin the presentation, press the Start Broadcast button on the GoToWebinar control panel to allow all attendees to hear you. This system will notify you once you begin your broadcast.
Yes, I cannot hear you at all.
Okay, I can hear you guys now, so I think you can also hear me. How about that?
Yeah, we're good.
You're back. You can hear you, but we lost you.
Share with me where I lost you. You live by the internet, you die by the internet, guys. So, I mean, one of the beauties of the things that we do here is that one of the beautiful things we do is that we've got, this internet connectivity, and we've got this internet-based platform, and, we're able to conduct these trainings right online, but, that can also be our detriment. So can everybody still hear me now? Okay, can you hear me now?
I can.
Okay, great.
Yes.
So can you guys maybe try to give me an idea where we might have lost audio? What I was saying was, you kind of live by the internet, you die by the internet.
I
lost you at the beginning of the second call.
Okay, but you did hear the first one?
I did.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can play it again.
Why can't you get into a swimming pool?
because you're supposed to do water aerobics for this kind of problem.
Sure, sure. I was just asking why can't she get into the swimming pool? You said that she's not able to get.
Well, to be quite honest, we're a little bit older, and it's a little tough to get in bathing suits at this stage of our lives.
Oh, so a modesty thing?
That's correct.
Okay, gotcha. Now, what is your wife doing right now then to treat her neuropathy?
Taking medication.
Has this neuropathy caused her to have any falls or close calls that you're aware of?
No, she hasn't had any falls.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
She's on a cane.
But she uses a cane to get around.
Yes.
Okay. How about yourself there, William? Any challenges for yourself?
No, not yet. Just birthdays.
Oh, okay. Birthdays are your challenge?
Yeah.
Just the increase.
Next was 88.
You're 88?
Yes.
Wow. What are you doing to stay so healthy that you don't have any challenges at 88?
Well, I don't know. I guess good genes.
Okay, so that was clip 2. For those of you in here, clip 3, here it comes.
What kind of arthritis is it?
It's osteoarthritis.
Osteoarthritis. Oh, wow.
And
Where do you, what joints do you have it in?
my knees, my left leg is decides to leave me.
Is it all the way down to your leg?
Okay.
Mostly my knees. I'm 88 years old. And
The audio is gone again.
surgery.
Oh, sure.
So I thought
Okay.
maybe the exercise would help.
Okay, so it looks like I got everybody but Ralph. Okay, so which one is A, which one is B, and which one is C?
My guess is you did play B first, then A, then C.
Okay, anybody else?
Lost your audio.
Okay, can you guys hear me now? Anybody else have a guess? Which one's A, which one's B, which one's C? And well, I'll tell you the answer to the punchline is all 3 of them are salespeople that work here. Every last one of those calls was a call, right? An inbound or outbound telephone call from our contact center in the middle of a step 1. And the reason I do that little exercise is this. The real telltale sign of whether or not our agents, our inside salespeople are doing a good job is once you get to about the 2 to 3 minute mark in a telephone call, you might think you're listening to A or B. You might think you're listening to, I've heard the following things. It sounds like, a doctor-patient conversation. It sounds like a father talking to his, daughter. It sounds like, a mother talking to his son, or her son rather, about their aches and pains. That's the real telltale mark of the quality of a step 1. And that's how we do it here. And, that's why it's so important for me to illustrate for you all how. Can you see my screen again? Every time I hit play on my presentation, it looks like I lose you guys. So we'll do it a little different. We'll do it like this.